Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the SITREP or summary for the day of 802 for the 5th of May, which is the situation report. In case you do not know what is the SITREP, we have already published, or actually I have already published the frontline changes report, but there is still more frontline changes report. And first thing first, before I jump into it, I just want to dispel some rumors that's going out there. I have checked with my sources. So there is a lot of rumors about French troops being inside already at Sloviansk as well as Chasiv. So this is Sloviansk and also at Chasiv. These are not, there is French troops, yes, but they are not from the French army, not the Foreign Legion, nor is it NATO troops. These are just mercenaries, or what you call mercenaries, or the Foreign Legion of Ukraine. They are the people that had already been in Ukraine for a long time. This one I've checked with my source on the ground. So there is a lot of hype, because people really wants the thing to escalate because they want to see a great show. But no, that's not the case. I have verified it's not the case. There's no such thing. So yeah, so just want to kill off this rumor first before it go out of hand, because it will lead us to World War III. So but it's not because it's going to lead us to World War III that I say this isn't. I'm just telling you the truth. I don't really care. If they want to go there and die, they can go in there and die. But yeah. So anyway, also there's so we're going to go on to the frontline changes report. There is two, Bilohorivka and Robotyne. I had the last edit is 5 hours ago here, because then after that I was so tired I thought I went to sleep, despite I wanted to do recording. So anything between this recording to the 5 hours ago, there's no update about all these things here. So the Bilohorivka, the Ukrainians have taken more grounds over this area here due to a geolocation north of Bilohorivka. The Russians are shown in the video footage using a thermobaric rocket barrage on Ukrainian forces position, which means that the Ukrainians actually expanded their control north of Bilohorivka. Most likely the zone of control is this forest here. All along to the road. So this is probably where the Ukrainians have retaken the position. Opposite side across the field to the other side of the forest. Now that's not too sure because that's a bit too far. So this is the frontline change around at Bilohorivka in the Luhansk region at the Siversk Front, and the other one is over at Robotyne over at the Zaporizhzhia Front. In this region here, previously we have geolocated Russian forces expanding their control against Ukrainian mapping. Of course, Russian claims is a lot further away. So this time around, we have geolocation of Russian forces further up north. So which means that the Russian forces is now confirmed to have captured two-thirds of Robotyne. So this is the situation over at Robotyne. So that's all for the frontline changes report. And in terms of the strategic and tactical reporting, we do have the Ukrainian Sukhoi 27 shot down over Ukraine, according to the Russian Defense Ministry's today's report. So it was the last report I mapped into the map before I died. So for those that wanted to watch the rest of the frontline changes report, you can find on the YouTube channel Rumble. If not, you can go to the mapping and then just click on the link. So we go into the Kherson Front. At the Kherson Front, we have fighting reported at Kreminna as usual, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Again, I just want to highlight how nobody cares about Kreminna. Like on the Russian side, it's totally unreported. The only people reporting on Kreminna is only the Ukrainian side and the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So across the shore, so this is Kreminna. Across the shore, the Russian forces are bombarding Avdiivka and Tokarivka. This is probably the where the Ukrainians set up their forward operating base to send forces into Kreminna, which is why these areas got bombarded. So, and geolocation shows Russian forces FPV drone hitting Ukrainian forces at Odradom Kamyanka. So that's all for that area here. We move further across to the Zolota Balka region. There is Russian reports of shelling at Zolota Balka and Mikhailivka. So this area have been consistently getting shelled. And as I mentioned long time ago, this area here is extremely convenient for the Ukrainians to cross. Particularly, this is a choke point around here. Ukrainian forces can actually, take up this entire peninsula, and then they will be given themselves a strong beachhead for them to continue the attack into the rest of the Zaporizhzhia Front. So, but or reconquer the Enohoda city or the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. But yeah, so far they haven't been able to do so. We move on to the Zaporizhzhia front. At the Zaporizhzhia front, there is fighting reported at Robotyne, as you probably can see from the geolocation. Ukrainian forces reportedly counterattack in this area here, and so with this firm control, 2/3 of Robotyne has fallen. So we will definitely continue to monitor, because yeah, according to the Russian mapping here, is actually 80-90% captured, but Ukrainian mapping have not kept up. And these are not based on Ukrainian mapping, because Ukrainian mapping, this is everything is gray zone, so this is based on geolocation. So moving on from this area here, sorry if I feel I may sound or behave a bit weird, because I'm really fatigued. Yeah, despite I just woke up after a long nap. So there is shelling reported at Pavlivka as well as Stepney. So Stepney, I'm not sure if this is the right location, but I cannot really find a Stepney nearby to the front line. So yeah, it's just Russian reports about some shelling. So it's not very important, I would say. So, but anyway, it happened, so I just report on it. We move on away from the Zaporizhzhia front. We move into the Donetsk front. So at the Donetsk front, we still have the usual, but the activity seems to be slightly lesser. Russian forces attacking at Makarivka, Staromayoske, Uruzaine. They're attacking towards Vodian, towards Konstantinivka, and they're attacking at Krasnohorivka. And there is shelling reported at Korokhove, as well as another one is called Ostrivsky, over near Voschenka. So this area here, this is actually the Operation HQ, which is why you see the entrenchment around there is stupid heavy, because that's where they command most of the fighting around this area here. So that's where it is. Maybe Spenivka is also heavily entrenched, but because this is actually a transport hub, you probably see the entrenchments. So, missed one. There's also some shelling or some slight push, or probing over at the Preshestivka. So that's the situation over at the Donetsk front. Well, this look like abstract art, like modern art. This should be on the wall. So anyway, so over at this Velika Novosilka sector, we can see that the Russian forces have geolocated and actually pushed over on the eastern part. So the Russians are heading over on the outskirts of Uruzaine, probably trying to go around it, because the last time that they pushed through, they got cancelled. They call them names. They call them Vatnik. And then they all the Russians just start crying, and then they started to redraw. So sad. And then the other Russian forces attack over Staromayoske. There's still reports about fighting towards Makarivka, but of course, it's hard to tell if it's an attack or just fire attacks. So that's the situation. Over at Staromayoske, we have Grad attacks, MLRS, multiple launch rocket system attacks on the Staromayoske. So that means that the Ukrainians are still trying to hold a strong position within the Staromayoske, as well as Uruzaine, and this is rather courageous, against all firepower. They continue to stay there. So anyway, we will continue to monitor over at the Velika Novosilka sector of the of the Donetsk front. So at Preshestivka, there is a geolocation of a helicopter guided missile strike of a observation post reportedly. And the Russian Defense Ministry reported they inflicted fire damage. So probably this is reporting the same thing, and it's not actually an attack. So we'll continue to monitor. Over at the Konstantinivka region, the Russian forces reportedly is attacking towards Konstantinivka, probably from Novomykhailivka region. There is a geolocation of a heavy artillery hitting there's some warehouse. So this heavy artillery called Krasnopol is a laser guided artillery. Of course, the West like to use laser guided, high precision artillery. So Russia actually have the same thing. There is geolocation of artillery, counter artillery operations over at Linka. So that's what happened over there. And over on the far end, like I mentioned, Kharkov. This is actually a Ukrainian stronghold. You can see the heavy entrenchments at these regions here. You can see it's totally protected, and then there is a river behind it or a lake behind it. So this is a very strong defensive position. This is where the final boss is. So and this is where also the Russians actually shelled them. Otrivsky also got shelled, so that's something there. Krasnohorivka, there is some fighting around here. So the fighting for the Battle of Krasnohorivka continues. I heard some rumors, some YouTube channel. I didn't know which channel, but some YouTube channels say no, Krasnohorivka has fallen. It's not true. Like this is way too big a piece to just fall in the single 24 hours. So yeah, so maybe some clickbait. I'm not sure. I just saw some rumors about it. So we move into the Avdiivka Front. So this is Avdiivka Front. I need to talk it in separate halves because this is too much things. So over in the southern half of the Avdiivka Front, the Russians continue to push in Performaiske. They are trying to squeeze on, and it looks like they are now making progress as per the previously. And given the continuous slow progress, it looks like the Ukrainians may have embarked on a tactical withdrawal from this encirclement or semi-encirclement. So I think this is currently happening. So it may take a few days, maybe up to a week for the Russians to capture the whole thing because this area here is so heavily mined. So let me zoom out a bit so you can see better. Yeah. So I believe that Ukrainian forces may be doing tactical withdrawal into better, easier lines or something, or safer lines, because this is a bit too deep into enemy territory. But yeah, they will take some time for the Russians to clear up. Geolocation of Russian forces at Netelove, confirming their presence at Netelove. Otherwise, the Russians are clashing with the Ukrainians over at Netelove. The Russians are also pushing towards Yasno-Borodivka, and the geolocation, there is a frontline change over in the north of Netelove, confirming the Russians are trying to attack from the north to attack in two different directions. So, like I said, the Russians like to do that, so they probably what's happening right now. So that's all for this area here. Moving further up north, okay, on the central part, so we just have to break it into three parts actually. So at this area here, the most significant news is actually the Russian Defense Ministry declaring the capture of Svatove. So this comes after the capture was first reported by us and by Raiba on the 25th of April. So it took around 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, for the Russians to get the confidence to actually declare the capture. So the Russian Defense Ministry sometimes make bad calls, and maybe the forces on the ground gave them false information and they just declare it prematurely. So usually the Russian Defense Ministry tends to be a bit more careful, but sometimes shit happens. And so this is so late. This is like almost 2 weeks. So this is like they are really, really careful about this. So Ukrainian forces are counter-attacking towards Svatove. They are attacking towards Bedaichi and Semenivka. Russian forces are pushing out of Semenivka and heading towards Novoporovske, and they are also attacking Umansky. So this is the current strategic situation in the center. Ukrainians are... let me turn off my Steam. Sorry. Yeah, it's very disturbing where the pop-up keep coming up. Yeah, I don't have time to play games. So when I see it, I feel very triggered. I want to play games. And so anyway, this is the situation over in the central part of the Avdiivka Front. We move further up north. So in the northern part, we have quite a number of things. Russian forces are still being reported to be fighting towards progress. They are attacking Novo-Oleksandrivka. They are attacking at Robotyne. Ukrainian forces clash with them as they try to counterattack. Russian forces are fighting in the Arkhangelsk region, fighting towards Kalinove, as well as a counterattack at Novokalinove. So this is the strategic situation. I think didn't really change a lot, but it is significant and important to note that the Ukrainian forces managed to keep the integrity of the defense line. So so this what I call the Citadel region, the Arkhangelsk, Kalinove, Citadel region. This entire fortress, is if it's forced, then like I said, the two different front lines is going to collapse, or it's going to be heavily compromised, which is why this defense line at Arkhangelsk and Kalinove have to hold this entire defensive, fortress, castle, whatever region. This one have to hold. So if they don't hold, there's nothing behind. There's really nothing much behind anymore. So this is going to be very bad. So yeah. So this is the situation. There is geolocation of Abrams tank getting hit by a Lancet, hidden in the jungle. Not jungle, like forest. Yeah, it's hidden in the forest, and then they got spotted somehow. So those are some crazy level of surveillance droning. So they managed to find it, and then they lanced it. So the Abrams tank is rather far from the front. We're talking about like 9 kilometers. I mean, it's still drivable, for the Abrams tank to appear, go to the front, fire a few shots, and then disappear. But yeah. Maybe or it's supposed to be part of the second defense line, and then it got destroyed. So we go into the Niu-York Front. At the Niu-York Front, there is no more fighting at Mayos. That was gone. The only fighting is now by the Russians attacking towards New York as well as Alexandropil. So according to the Russian, they call Alexandropil, actually they call it a different name. They call it Rozovka, which is their former name, I guess. So I just put it, it's Rozovka. So, but on Google Maps, it's called Alexandropil. So maybe you may have problems trying to find this location. But I don't think you want to find this location. I don't think this is not an important position for now. So that's all from the New York Front. Over at the Bakhmut Front, in the southern flank, old times is back. We are now seeing Kupyansk again. Long time no see. Then the fighting reported at Avdiivka and Klishevka. But yeah, that's about it. Also the same thing, very traditional. Just like before, also no frontline changes in this area despite all the fighting. Over in the central part, we have fighting reported at Bilohorivka, over at Novi, towards Chasivia, and at Ivaniski. And that's about it. There is a geolocation of Russian airstrike right in the center of Chasivia. And again, as mentioned, there is rumors of Germans, French troops getting killed or clash with the Russian troops over in the Bakhmut Front, over in the Chasivia region. It's not true. Those, unless you want to say French person, German person, then probably maybe true, but yeah, but it's not true. It's just there's no foreign forces no foreign combatants that is part of a national army that is not Ukraine in Chasivia. So these are all actually part of the Foreign Legion. I checked with my source who is in the Foreign Legion. So yeah, so it is as good as you get in terms of source and information. So this is not true. There's no French Legion or German forces inside of Ukraine. Unless they are doing advisory role, then that's another story altogether. But these are all Ukrainian Foreign Legions. So the Foreign Legion in Ukraine is still doing. They are still around, and they are still as strong as ever before. It's just that, of course, they do not. They don't do suicide missions. So so they are always around, unlike the Ukrainian troops. So the Orikovo Vasilivka also see fighting after the Horivka as well. So we will continue to monitor. So that's all for this Bakhmut Front. And like I have to emphasize, there is no French troop, because I am very curious as well, right? If there's French Legion, things might get more exciting, so the more interesting to report. So I immediately check with my source. They're just not there, so they aren't. So those are Foreign Legions. If there is, I probably they would have you probably see a lot more stuff, rather than all these scans rumors. And History Legend also told me that according to his source, on the French side, in the French military side, also there is no such information. This is not true. So we have two sides, but of course the person on the ground is the most accurate one. Far away, the Russian forces strike Slaviansk thermal power plant. So So this heat power station got hit by the Russians. So the Russians are very determined to plunge the region into darkness. No wonder they are the Dark Lord and the force of Mordor. No one walks into Mordor. This is a gift. Anyway, we move into Siversk Front. The Russian forces attack Bilohorivka, Verkhnokanyamsky, Sperne, Vimka, and Rozdolivka. So again, they are attacking everywhere in the Siversk Front, but there's no progress. So it could be just grinding operations. It could be just diversionary attempts. Not sure. So, but this is what it is. That's all from the Siversk Front. Over the Kreminna Front. So at the Kreminna Front, there is no fighting at the Zaporizhzhia Forest Tree. We do have the Russians attacking at Torske, at Novosadove and Nevsky. Novosadove is interesting because we don't have this fighting being reported like for a long time, and suddenly we have the Russian and Ukrainian Defense Ministry both talking about Novosadove. So this could be rather serious. There could be a real push by the Russians in this direction to suddenly warrant the attention and the reporting from both sides. So we will definitely have to monitor to take a note on this region here, because it could be an operation to straighten the front line, because this front line is really ugly, like for the Russians, like it's like it's like that. Yeah, so so they have to straighten that line over there. At Yampolevka, there is some artillery shelling of Ukrainian forces on this tree line that they just captured not too long ago, which means that the Ukrainians have actually managed to hold position around here after the capture. So good job on them. So we move on over the Svatove Front. We have some updates. I will leave that on top. There's fighting reported at Stemakivka. There's a clash between the two forces. However, in this area here, for the first time in a long time, we actually have geolocations of frontline changes. The Russians attack actually now can see on the map after so long. So this is just 1-3 lines away from Stemakivka. So we will continue to monitor and see if this is a very, very serious push, because the moment we start to see frontline changes, it looks really serious, because the Ukrainians now are struggling with everything. So it could lead to some operations into a battle of Stemakivka, where the Russians actually enters it. So this is not that far away. We are talking about city to tree line around almost 2 kilometers. So we will definitely continue to monitor. Another place to take note. There's a lot of things happening all around Ukraine. The front line, the Ukraine war is such a huge war. So the people still keep complaining how long the videos are, but it's 23 minutes already. If you imagine, I used to do 40 minutes, 50 minutes videos every day. So yeah, it is what it is. Don't complain about this kind of thing. So people are dying over there. So over at the Kupyansk Front, there is quite a number of things. Russian forces attacking Sinkivka. Ukrainian forces clash with them. Russian forces shell Kupyansk. There is continued fighting in Kharkivka, Kotelivka region. Both towns is now under Russian control. Ukrainian forces attack Kreminna. Russians attack towards Pischany, and Russians attack Berestove. So we go into details. This part, of course, is very confusing. The most important news is the reported capture of Kharkivka. Deep State UA reported and mapped that Kharkivka has fallen to the Russians. So the Russians have taken this town after the fall of Kotelivka just the day before. So, and this Kotelivka now is also corroborated by the Russian Defense Ministry. They announced the capture of Kotelivka in their latest daily report. Geolocation of Russian forces getting hit over on this westernmost outskirt of Kotelivka actually basically confirmed that the Russian forces have taken the entire of Kotelivka. So that's all this for this area here. There is a geolocation of a Russian airstrike against a Ukrainian position, probably a checkpoint or something along the highway. So, and then further south, we have this interesting development around here. Russian forces reportedly is attacking towards Pischany. Ukrainians attack Kreminna. Russians attack Berestove. So, this is a reverse pincer. The Ukrainian forces are entering the pincer. So we shall continue to monitor and see how this progress. And then and over at Sinkivka, there is also geolocation of Russian progress over at Sinkivka. The Russians attacked and was geolocated on this tree line, confirming the Russians have taken a bit more grounds. Ukrainian forces are reportedly counter-attacking at Sinkivka. We're not sure where the clash is. It's most likely only in this area here. This is where the fighting is currently happening, around here. So we will definitely continue to monitor. Previously, the fighting tends to be here. So anyway, we move on. And that's all on that. Oh yeah, there's one more thing. So this is yet another Lancet strike. Another Ukrainian tank getting hit by the Lancet drone, and in the defensive position at Petropavlivka, defending Kupyansk, the entrance to Kupyansk. So yeah, this comes after previously there is already a hit on Ukrainian armored vehicles. The Lancets are wreaking havoc in the back lines. So very very sad and disturbing if you are pro-Ukrainian. We move into the Kharkiv Front. At the Kharkiv Front, we only have one geolocation, or two actually. One is this Lancet drone hitting an armored personnel carrier over here, just off Bilohorivka. And then there's another one over over at Fedorivka, which is a Russian missile strike hitting a Ukrainian air defense radar. So there's two strikes around here. So the fact that this is actually geolocated and with a video footage means that the Russians are now flying surveillance drones 60-70 kilometers into the rear in Kharkiv, which is amazing. It's crazy how the Russians now have drones flying everywhere in enemy territory. And yeah, then the Ukrainian seems to have very little they can do about it. So that's about it. This is the situation report, or the summary for the SITREP for the day of 802 for the 5th of May. Sorry for my voice, my energy level. Yeah, I'm very tired. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Press the like button. At least that's the least you can do. And I'll see you guys in the next update.